Okay, I brought a friend with me today that's in our group. This is Sharon, and she's been with us for a couple years. Okay, so Caring Hands was started. Can you hear me? I'm not holding this close. Hold it closer. Okay, now can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay, so Caring Hands was started in April of 1998. That's almost 27 years ago. And this is the first time we've been able to bring what we do to the congregation, so I'm very thankful for that. Our mission is to bring comfort to others through a warm hug from a quilt. There's about 10 people in our group. Can you show that first picture? Or do you have them up? There's some. What's next? Oh, that's the last one. Yeah, we'll put that up last. Go back to the first one. There. Okay, and our group consists of seniors, like us, down to 10-year-olds. And you can see Ty in that picture. He gets to come on Tuesday morning and help for about an hour before he goes to school. And he's very helpful. He takes pins out. He has agile little fingers that can take safety pins out of our quilts, and that's his big pride, is to take those out for us and keep us supplied with those pins. And he's standing next to Linda, and he's also very thrilled that he's taller than she is. So our supplies that we use for quilting are mostly donated, and the donations are usually fabrics, small fabrics. And so our budget goes to supplying the other things that we need, like thread, batting, just regular sewing supplies. So what do we make? Yes, we make quilts, but we make some other things too. We make bibs for babies. We make burp claws. What mother doesn't need, new mother doesn't need burp claws. And we make these things, and we've just started this recently because our pieces get so small that we need to put them into smaller items. And so this is what we're doing with them so that we can use all of the materials that we have. Okay, we also, Cheryl makes sweater sets. She crochets these sweater sets. There might be some of you in our congregation that could also add to that, or supply some yarn for her, some baby yarn. She uses a certain type of yarn, so you'd have to talk to her about that. We also do receiving blankets. Where's the receiving blankets? Right here. And those are all made out of flannel, absorbent, warm, light. We make tote bags and Christmas stockings besides the quilts. Okay, so we'll continue with this. So what do we do with these items that we make? We give them away. One of the agencies that we give these items to is the Skagit Pregnancy Care Center. They are a pro-life pregnancy clinic in Mount Vernon. And every 3 months, we donate to them burp claws, baby bibs, receiving blankets, sweater sets, and baby quilts. There is a picture there of me and the care center. That's not it. The other one. Okay, maybe it's not there. We probably didn't get it in there. I think John had it on his phone and it didn't make it. Okay. Okay, so in 2024, we gave 116 bibs, 116 burp claws. That's interesting that that came out to be the same. 26 receiving blankets, 6 sweater sets, 4 stuffed animals, and 53 baby quilts to the pregnancy center. Now that's a little bit lower for the pregnancy center because in those numbers is also included the items that we've given to mothers of newborns here in the church. Okay, now we also make fidget quilts. This is one of my favorites. These are given to Alzheimer patients. It's hard to hold that, hold that up. Okay. You can hear, maybe you can hear the bell in it. There's all sorts of tactile things on these quilts. This I call a mystery bag. You turn the other way so they can see it on the other side. This is called a mystery bag. There's something in there. Well, you have to feel it for a long time to figure out what it is if you can. And so it's just something for the Alzheimer's patients who have a lot of anxiety and need to keep their hands busy. It's calming for them, and it's definitely calming for their caregiver, for them to have something like that on their lap. Last year, we donated 22 fidget quilts. There is an agency in Everett called Continuum, and they distribute them through their caregivers. This is a thank you note that we received from the wife of one of the men that received one of these quilts. She says, "Dear ladies, I would like to thank you for the work you put into making the fidget blanket. My husband was one of the lucky recipients. His hospice nurse brought it to him. This is a thoughtful, kind, loving gift, and know your efforts are very much appreciated. Thank you." So it's nice to receive something like that and know that these things are appreciated and used.
There's so many things you can do in these fidget quilts. Zippers, little secret places to find, different feel of the different fibers. It's just really cool.
Velcro, elastic,
Yeah,
all kinds of stuff.
yeah. And Marilyn is the fidget quilt queen.
I didn't tell her to say that. Actually, we were asked to start making these, and I'd never heard of them. So I went on YouTube and looked, and there's a plethora of information on YouTube. And so I just picked it up, and we started experimenting with them, and they go over quite well. So we also donate to this Snohomish County Domestic Violence Shelter. That's in Everett. That's the one you're going to hold up here on the end right here. This top for this quilt was actually made by Bonnie Nobriga, who you are all familiar with. She works from her home and helps us out because she can't come to quilting. And she probably makes a quilt top every 2 or 3 weeks for us, which is very helpful. When women come into the shelter, many of them come from a traumatic situation and bring nothing with them.
Is there another quilt for that?
Yeah, there is, but you need to hold up this bag that you have down here. They are given toiletries, maybe a change of clothes, and they need something to keep them in, so we make tote bags. And one of our ladies has taken this on. When we're donated upholstery fabrics and things like that, they really are good for making these bags. They're also given a quilt like the one that Sharon just held up. And if they bring children with them, the children also receive a quilt for their bed. The children also receive, if they're a boy, they receive a teddy bear. If they are a girl, they receive a baby doll. And so we make, this is the next one, we make teddy bear quilts for them. So each teddy bear and each baby doll has a quilt too. And I think inside me, I think it would be so cool to have a dolly and have a blanket for that dolly, especially when you don't know what's happening in your world. Okay, so this is a receipt. You have the picture of the thank you note, the email thank you. The thank you. That's that. Okay, this is what it says. This is from a lady that was in the shelter, and she went to the trouble. We have a label on each of our quilts that says Made for You by Caring Hands First Baptist Church, Arlington, Washington. And she looked at that label, she looked us up online, and she sent us a thank you. She says, "A few months back, I received one of your beautiful quilts. I was residing at the Snohomish County Violence Center at the time. I just wanted to let you know how much of a comfort your kind gift has been to me. I was going through a very difficult time, and feeling very isolated. I had to leave my home for my safety with just the clothes on my back. Your gift is so beautiful. It is a work of art. I treasure it. The colors and pattern of my quilt remind me of a summer meadow. It is the very thing to wrap myself up in on these cold, rainy November nights. Thank you for reminding me that there are still compassionate, empathetic people in this world. Thank you for making me feel less alone. And that's the mission of our group, and she nailed it spot on. So that was really touched my heart when we received that she went to the trouble to look us up and to let us know that she appreciated what we did for her. So in September, the Fredericksons asked us if we could make quilts for them to take to a nursing home as gifts for the residents in a nursing home in December for Christmas. Well, and she said, and we probably need around 45. And it was September, and I said, sure, we can do that. So we did. And I don't know if there's a picture in there of the quilts that we gave them. I don't remember if it was in there. I don't. Well, that's a quilt. Next one. Next one. Next one. Okay. Okay. That's what Sharon does. She does free motion.
There I am.
Yep. Okay, so we'll just skip that part then. I wondered all night long last night if that picture was in there, and apparently it's not. So SOAR Ministries has a Stuff a Stocking ministry. They need apparently a couple thousand stockings to provide for the children in their orphanages in the Ukraine and around to stuff for Christmas time. So we make Christmas stockings. They're very specific as to how they want them made and sent us the directions and the pattern. And they need to be a solid color for the main body of the stocking. They need to be either red, blue, or green. And then we use some of the donated fabric that's Christmas fabric that we don't put in our regular quilts for the cuffs. We make about 10 a month, which totals out to about 120 some a year to help them out with that.
Tell them why we do 10 a month, because the last part of the year is a scramble if we don't do 10 a month.
Yeah. Okay, so last year, in 2024, we donated 354 quilts that we made and 334 other items of what you see here. So how can you help us? You can pray for us. We have a very sweet group of these women, and we have men. We have Ty and we have Rich. Rich Braun also comes and helps. He's tall. He can reach up, and he's strong. He can carry stuff for us. He's a big help.
And he never says a word. He never says a word.
He just listens to the women talk. But if our phones are broken or something, he's good at helping with that too. So you can pray for us that we get along, that we uphold each other, and that our ministry is effective. You can come on Tuesday and help. We'll welcome anyone. You don't need to know how to sew. We have a gal that comes, and she'll iron, and she'll organize, and all kinds of things that relieves those who sew to be able to sew. You can sew from home. We'll supply the stuff for you if you want to sew from home. If you want to learn, we'll teach you. And you can donate. We need lots of silly little items. Oh, by the way, Jim, I need those squeakers. He needed a squeaker for his photography to attract the children's attention. Well, he bought 50 in a bag for $5. That's the only way he could get them. So we get the other 49, and that'll be wonderful to have in a fidget quilt. And there's things like Velcro, zippers, elastic, buttons, just you name it. We can probably put it on a fidget quilt as long as it's washable. We need batting thread. we need quilting cotton, we need things that we can make tote bags out of. There's just so many things we need. If you have a question about if we need it, ask one of us, and we'll probably say, yeah, we can probably use it. And you can also tell us if you know of someone who would benefit from receiving a quilt. I guess that's about all.
Are you going to show them the shelter quilts?
Well, the shelter quilts, that's a baby quilt right there.
Oh, okay, well, this didn't get shown.
Yeah. And this is a shelter quilt. The shelter quilts, the smallest shelter quilt is 50 by 60. They have to be at least that size or larger so that they go on a twin bed or they can wrap themselves up in them. So they vary in size, but the smallest are 50 inches by 60 inches.
Yeah, well, you talked about the stockings, but am I correct? You have set quilts around the world, have you not?
Yes, in the past, yes, we have, yes. And if missionaries come and they need quilts, that's our first priority, to give them the quilts to use in their ministry.
Let me show them the back.
Okay,
We do just a meandering quilt of each quilt. Just to keep all the three layers together. Yeah, meandering stitch. Very simple. And Marilyn is the queen of meandering, too.
so do we have other questions, please?
If they were passing out speeding tickets, she'd get one.
Question right there.
Either for you or for Todd, since you need a lot of stuff and we could use some money for that,
Yes.
is there a line item in the general budget for it, or do we just give?
There's a line that says
Yeah.
other, and you can fill that in.
Yeah, just designate it. Just tell us what you want to designate.
But we do have a budget that we work on from the church, yes. Did that answer your question?
Know what your budget is?
It's $2,000 a year, isn't it, Todd? And that's not very much because just one roll of batting is a couple $100.
And thread.
And thread, we spend probably, I would say we probably spend $400 a year on thread.
The next question is, what do you need budget-wise?
What do we need budget-wise? The more the merrier.
Less money, Chris. We want less money.
Okay, Mary.
Well, I'd like to have you tell about the quilts you sent to California when the fires came through, and also about that child that was adopted that had one of your quilts from Russia.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure about the California quilts. When they had fires down there, we sent a lot of quilts down there, about 100 quilts, and we rushed to get those made and sent down there. That was the fires several years ago, not just these recent fires. And then one of our favorite stories is many years ago, we had a lady in our group who had a landscaper would come and mow her yard and stuff, and he had a little boy with him about 7 years old. And he'd bring him each time he came, and he was adopted from Russia or Ukraine or somewhere over there. One day the little boy came with a quilt and she asked to see the quilt, and it had our name on it. It had gone over there and come all the way back, come full circle. So, other questions? Yes, Jenny? Do we have time to show your video? Yes, yes. Okay, there's a sweet story at the end of the video. So if there's no more questions, we'll sit down and show the video. Okay. This is the batting, and this is the top. And those will be put together.
pretty.
And then it all comes out here and together. And she pins it together so that it will look like this. See, it's all pinned together. It's all pinned together. It's all pinned together. It's all pinned together. Then we put it on this machine and do quilting on it. And it will end up looking like this.
Oh, with the stitching.
And stitching on it. It holds all the layers together. And then somebody trims it. And then this gets turned over like this. And stitched down. And stitched down. And it's finished.
So I'm doing the binding around it.
For the domestic violence center. You can take a picture of that too. In Everett. And they get about 15 or 16.
It's the same thing on my Dickman code. It's the same thing on my Dickman code. It's by how you move it.
And you just go however you
Uh-huh,
want to.
yep.
However you want to.
Called free motion.
Like freehand, yeah.
Called free
Yes,
motion.
Like freehand, yeah.
Yes, free motion
Yeah,
quilting.
yeah. Come and watch our clothes. Yeah, come and watch.
This is amazing. This is how God works. This is amazing. We had this huge quilt. We had this huge quilt. It was way too rather than use our fabric on the back of it to finish it, too big for the shelter. Too big for anything. Too big for anything. So just set it aside. That afternoon, after we decided that, Is it on? Can you hear me? Okay. The story I was telling Jenny and Jim there when they came in last year to make a video was we had a huge quilt top donated. We don't usually give away great big huge quilt tops. And we were discussing whether to finish it or not. Well, if we finished it, we were using a whole lot of batting that could have been used in another area, a whole lot of backing. So one of the ladies said, I'll just take it home and I'll store it until we need it. So she did. After quilting, Cheryl went to get a pizza take home for dinner because she was too tired to cook. She's standing in line for pizza, and the lady in front of her was telling her that there was a family that her organization was helping because they'd had a house fire. And I don't remember exactly how it came out, but Cheryl found out that they needed a quilt for their bed. So she came home and called me. I called the lady that had it. She put it together and had it to them the next week. So God guides our group, and we're very thankful for that.
Real quick, I wanted to add regarding Chris's question, any of our missionaries, and certainly Caring Hands would be one of those, anything you want to give money to directly, just write that on the check, put it in the envelope, put what you want it to go to, Caring Hands on the envelope, and we'll make sure it goes into a separate little pot where we budget it, and that goes directly to that missionary you designate. That's the money Bill was asking about, if it was in that budget and stuff, and it's not included in our budgets because it just flows right through us to that ministry. So, yeah, if you have anything specific you want to give money to, just let us know, and we'll make sure it gets in the proper hands.
I just want to add this because it really is important in years of ministry. Be faithful to the local assembly, though, as well.
100%, yeah. So don't let it interfere with your general giving is kind of what he's saying. But and we're having this mission month, and we don't have quite as few missionaries coming and speaking, and Ian alluded to it, but don't stop giving to missionaries. Keep those in the missions fund. The general missions fund also is very important, so keep all that rolling, all right?
Well, if there's nothing else, again, Marilyn and her group are on the tip of the spear, although it's a nice, cozy, fuzzy spear, but you'd rather get that than the sharp, jagged edge, I'm sure, any day. But no, and then the other thing, too, I'm sure they would accept donations like Joanne Fabric gift cards, any, oh, well. Any fabric store that may still be in business or Amazon, I don't know. Anyway, Amazon's good, she says. Okay. But anyway, if that's, you know, where you think that you can help out there too, I'm sure they'd be loved to have that. And then, you know, the younger ladies, if they want to learn how to quilt and sew, I'm sure they would, that's a skill that'll, you can use your entire life. So, and I guess young men too, a lot of, you know, you think about that being such a, not really a manly thing, but how many football players in the NFL quilt and stitch and stuff like that just for dexterity's sake and also for just to kind of relax themselves. So you young men who are needing something to do, they would love to have you too. Anyway, anything else? I think we'll just go ahead and dismiss. Thank you guys for coming this morning, and I'll look forward to the next hour and a half. 2 hours. 2.5? I don't know.